saying that we were glad to see that you made it back. The movement had different meanings, but the most important movement that you saw is when they went down on one knee and they started doing this, they were showering you all with blessings. They were saying, welcome, you made it here, but when you get ready to go back, may God bless you and protect you. So, African drumming, dancing, we're not doing arbitrary things, we're doing things that always, and Africans always did things to give thanks to the Creator that gave us everything. So you got your blessing from the children, no less, to go home safely. And hopefully your loved ones, you'll find them there safe like you left. We're going to do the presentation with the ladies, and we hope you like it. I don't know what y'all doing.
There are over 50 languages spoken in Africa, about 1,200 sub-dialects, a lot of different foods, a lot of different clothes, but there's three things that I consider universal throughout all of Africa. One is recognition of the existence of the ancestral spirit. Two is the value of family. And three is drumming and dancing. You will not go to any African nation and not have drumming and dancing. It is a staple. It is part of what we do. They are honored professions to be drummers and dancers. to be grills, to be strolling musicians. That is your life. And when you see these brothers here, you don't realize how difficult that is. I've had a djembe for 18 years, and I can't play it. I try, but I can't play it. It is not easy, particularly when you're playing with somebody else. So you really have to give all African drummers and dancers a lot of credit. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of sweat. And when you put a troupe together, it's even much more difficult. Right now, we're going to do the brother gave a lot of insight into the principles of Kwanzaa, but we're still going to go over it. It's in our program. Where's Bridget? She left. Okay. Well, we're going to light the Mishuma Saba, which is the 7 candles. And the 7 candles are in the Kanara. And there's a candle that represents each day of Kwanzaa. Well, I can't light them. I don't have a lighter. Oh, you back here? Okay. On the first day of Kwanzaa, which is Umoja, we light the black candle for unity. The second day, and we're going to do an abbreviated candle lighting because we only have 2 days. So today we're going to do four candles, and tomorrow we'll do the other 3 candles. On the second day, we move to the left and light the far red candle, which is the second day of Kwanzaa, which is Kuji Chakulia. We move on the third day of Kwanzaa to Ujima, and then we move to the 4th day of Kwanzaa, which is today, Ujamaa. And every day you start back over with the black candle, red, 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 and then you move green, green, green. So you move from the right to the left. The red candles, the black candle represents unity. It's the first candle lit. The red candles represent our struggle, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, and cooperative economics. The red candles. The green candles represent hope for our future. Represents Nia, purpose, Kuumba, creativity, and Imani, faith. And every day you go through the ceremony, you light the candles, and normally you talk about that principle of the day. And if you have a larger group and you have a lot of time to prepare, some Kwanzaa celebrations are different. People are asked to stand up and talk about what that principle means to them that day. But we're not going to do that since we ran a little bit behind time. In the program, it gives an explanation of Kwanzaa. Started in 1966 by Maulana Ron Karenga. At that time, his name was Maulana Karenga. At that time, his name was Ron Karenga. And he was doing research, I think for his PhD at Cal State. And he went to Africa, East Africa primarily, and started doing some research. And another thing that most African nations have, because most of them are agrarian nations, they have a harvest festival. And Kwanzaa means first fruits. And that's the culmination of all the hard harvesting and reaping and sowing and tilling the soil and planting and bringing stuff in. And now you got this crop. And Kwanzaa represented first fruits. Some cultures and some countries it's called the yam festival, it's a potato festival, it's the first harvest. It goes by a number of different names. But everybody recognizes their bounty. They're thankful, and they have celebration for that. Karenga put it together for 7 days, placed it after Christmas so as not to confuse it with a religious holiday. Kwanzaa is not a holiday. Kwanzaa is a celebration. There's a difference. We celebrate. And ideally, we should be celebrating Kwanzaa 365 days a year, and not just these 7 days that we celebrated, what some people celebrated. Some of us celebrated 365 days, some celebrated 7, some throw 28 days in February in there, and some don't come at all. But we're trying to make sure that we can keep the culture alive. It's said that a people without a culture is like a tree without roots, and a tree without roots can't stand. The deeper the roots go into the soil, the longer the tree stands. Our roots are not going very deep. It's a saying, a traveler in Africa was looking for the people of Sumer. He traveled, he looked everywhere. Everywhere he went, he asked, listen, I'm trying to find these people of Sumer. I heard that they had a real dynamic, a heck of a culture. They really had it going on. And finally, he saw one old man on the road, and he asked, he said, well, what happened to him? He said, oh, they lost their culture. They died. When we lose our culture, we die. When asked why Malcolm X, when he was asked why he always advised people to go back to Africa, he said, because that's where you lost your mind. See, and because we lost our minds collectively, and it was wiped away and replaced with something else. So we're really not in some of us are not in our right minds. And it shows. It truly shows. We're not in our right mind. We're doing some stuff and have been doing some stuff almost as long as we've been in this country that is totally foreign and alien to who we are. Has absolutely nothing to do with us. But we're trying to emulate somebody else's stuff. And that's just not working for us. At least I don't think it's working for some folks. There are a lot of us in here, we got a different slant. See, the European world, their worldview is finite. It's linear. It's in a straight line. It goes from here to here. When you sit in a classroom, you sit in rows. When cities were laid out, they were laid out in blocks, straight rows, straight lines. You're going from here to there, and at some point you reach the end of the block. The African worldview is continuous, it's circular. It has no beginning, it has no end. So you're constantly learning, constantly building. See, European mind forgets things, and they forget. See, the European forgets what has happened to us. And now we're the fault, we're at fault, we're to blame for everything that happens to us. You know, so it's like if you just didn't do this, you'd be all right. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, those boots you got on with no soles, so when you pull them up, they come straight up. Nothing to grab you with. So, but anyway, I'm digressing a little bit, but a lot of people know me, don't put me in front of a mic, don't give me an audience. But that's because I have something to say. I have knowledge to impart. I characterize myself as being a village servant. My son here, he likes, Dad, I got it, I got it, I got it. I just can't help myself. I never stop teaching. Never stop teaching. Now, you know, there are people who talk, and don't say nothing. But I believe if I have something to say, I need to speak of it. I need to speak on it. And I learned from my son, he says, Dad, don't talk about it, be about it. Well, I talk about it and I'm about it, same time, you know. But I think we have to recognize when we began to do this Kwanzaa celebration in the township, we wanted to put this whole cultural flavor here. Not that there was no flavor here, because we know the history and legacy of the township. Some people don't know it. Been black folks here in the township for a long, 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 long time. Long time. And we're just trying to keep some things going on here in the community. And the sister out there, one of the vendors, she was talking about, it's about the children. You saw the little children come out and dance. Okay? Now, our kids, most of the kids, they can probably twerk, but they can't do an African dance. You know, can't do an African dance. We should be able to do that because it is natural to us. You know, my name's Sheikh Amadou Bamba Mbaki. I can't say that old long, funny name. Why not? Why not? You can say Yao Ming, you can say Dirk Nowitzki, you can say George Stephanopoulos, you can say all those names, but you can't say an African name. Because we've been conditioned to those names are foreign to us. Our tongue won't even twist that way. Won't even work that way. James, Willie, Tom, Bill, Harry, whatever, fine, no problem. So, it's important to understand our culture. And the components of our culture are history, language, clothes, food, music, art forms. Those are the components of culture. Some people want to throw religion in, but I choose not to because religion can be in any kind of culture. But all parts of that culture is the glue that keeps us together. The glue that keeps us together. We used to dress a certain way. I've been around a long time. I could go across the country. I could look at somebody and say, that dude, he come from Chicago. He from Philadelphia. He from Detroit. You could tell by the way they dressed, by the way they wore their hat, the way they buttoned their suit coat. That was part of our culture. Food, you knew where people came from, what part of the country, how the food was cooked. Language, how we spoke. But that's all been erased and it's been replaced with some universal something, stuff, whatever. And we're in danger of losing our culture. It's said that by the year 2050, there will be everybody in this country will be a minority, everybody. And then when you add the multicultural aspect of what we're doing now, and I don't know, I guess you can have multiple cultures, but I don't know if you can be more than one race, biracial, not hating on anybody, but it's kind of hard to distinguish that. Okay. Realize we still have some forms that say colored. And some say white and some say black. And Dr. John Howard Clark tells you, black tells you what you look like. It does not tell you where you come from. And the proper name of any people has to do with land, history, and culture. There's no such place as black land. And there are no pure white people. You come closer, I see some brothers almost black. I ain't seen no white people almost white, not even albino. They still got some pink in there. I've seen some brothers truly, truly dark, okay? Particularly on the continent. Because if you walk around in 120, 130 degree sun all day long, you will be dark. And enjoy it. So at any rate, I think we need to move on. I don't know if we're ready for the next part of the program, which is, because that was an impromptu rant. We had Nano Japo again. Oh, right now, I guess we're ready for, is Dreams Deferred ready to throw down? Y'all didn't go to sleep on me, did you? These brothers, very gracious. They've been playing in and around the metropolitan Detroit area, clubs, parties, events, jazz, R&B, what else? Jazz, R&B, soul, I'm sure. Whatever you need. And if you haven't heard them before, you're going to hear them now. They've been playing since 1996. Dreams Deferred.
All right, this tune is titled Lovely Day. just one